Hello people. So now I'm down to part 2 of this series. In part 1 I talked about how these 3 hexagrams, which are also the archetype of the moon in the major arcana, have been showing what's happening over the lockdown in relation to Pluto's transit of these. And part 1 was about how this manifests in lockdown. But part 2, I'm going to talk about my own personal life a bit. The reason I'm going to talk about my own personal life is because I couldn't really see any manifestation of the gate 41, of Pluto going through the gate 41 in the relevant time period. But I saw a big change in my own life. And when I get to the end of part 2, I will also talk about the power of having 2 individual north nodes in every person's life, as they do in the human design. As I do in every video, I'm just going to state here that this is a higher one. So this is all about the human design theory. I had planned here on this slide to go straight into my experience of the gate 61 and 60, but I realised I need to explain the fundamental theory first. So here we are. Gate 61, Gate 60, Gate 41. Gate 61 being the light, so to speak, Gate 60 being the limitation, and the way I have said this manifests is that the limitation prevents the loss of the light. And then Gate 41 is a new cycle. So after all this limitation and stagnation in the Gate 60, in Gate 41 we have a new cycle, a beginning. And the Gate 41 is about scarcity, but that's not fully what it's about. I'll go more into what that is in part 4. But for the moment, I'm just going to summarise what I am going to talk about in part 2. And there was a brief period between April 11th and March 24th where Pluto did go into the Gate 41. So, as you can see on this image here, Pluto only went a very small bit into the Gate 41. After January 30th, 2025, it will spend a longer time there. And the thing that I want to state is that as this new energy comes in, there is a new energy that people are given. It's hard to describe. Whenever there's a new cycle, whenever there's a new beginning of something, there is a new energy that's given. Even if there's a loss, there's usually a loss because the person isn't responding to the challenges which the new environment brings, but the new environment has brought in more energy. So on this graph here, you can see after the purple line, it goes up or down. That depends on how worked out the person is. If the person's quite worked out, they will use the opportunity to go and do something good and new. And if they are not worked out, if they've still got loads of things they're confused about, then that's when circumstances will corner them to try and go and do the negative thing. Ideally, when they go and try and do that, if it is a disruptive and negative thing, they will get stopped by the environment, by the society. But on the individual level, what matters is there's extra energy and it has to be applied. My next video, I will go into my experience of the Gate 61, the Gate 60, what I experienced at the point of the Gate 41. And my theory at the moment is that because I wasn't worked out, I kind of went down here. Like I didn't have clarity on what I should be doing or what would be best for me. So I just kind of jumped at anything and went here. And ideally, when Pluto goes back there in January of 2025, I'll be able to go on the upward stream. And that is, I think, a point and a benefit to the entire video series here. Anyway, it was a short one today, and thank you for listening.